See that recall? That was pretty good. Like, I'd really like to go say hi right now. Wow, impressive. That was very good. That was very good.
Your call has been forwarded to an
sent
automated
right to
voice
voicemail.
system.
It's Tingus Day, Paige.
Please leave your message for...
Susanna.
Please leave your message for...
Man, striking out on all of these. Hello? Okay, let's try again.
Your call has been forwarded to an...
Alrighty. Striking out again. Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of cases, we haven't seen a very big correlation between like dog reactivity and actual aggression issues. You know, ironically, like I have a dog out like right now as I'm on the phone with you that's playing with another dog that came here because she's extremely dog reactive, right? And it's one of those things where you start to get into the trigger is not necessarily solely the dog. The dog is obviously creating the arousal, right? But the issue typically stems from the frustration when they're restrained on a leash mixed with that arousal, you know, which is why you'll see these like really intense explosions out of the dog because they can't contain it. They don't know how to control themselves when they're in that like tight bubble they have to stay within. So it's funny, you know, like I didn't even really think about this. Michelle really is the one that started this kind of conversation, I feel like. There is such a ridiculously unnecessary push for board and trains right now. Like trainers like look at it like it's just like the end all be all of like, oh my God, your dog's having aggression issues, your dog's having reactivity issues, they have to do a board and train. It's the only way that we could work through this kind of stuff. When in actuality, if you have a dedicated owner that comes in for classes, one, you're getting the week by week progress updates of how the little adjustments you're having them make in your day-to-day are impacting the dog's behavior at the house. Two, we know that board and trains are not a quick fix. We have to spend just as much time coaching the owner through how to use all this stuff and live a different life with the dogs once they go home. Three, if they're putting in the work, we know the training is for the owner more than it is for the dog, right? So I'm gonna be able to see all of the reasons why the dog is rehearsing the behaviors that they're currently rehearsing by watching the owner's interactions with the dog on a day-to-day basis. And four, you have more time, right? So like over the course of 10 weeks, we're gonna see all those incremental adjustments and we're gonna be able to see all of those different impacts on the dog's behavior. And I just don't understand why some trainers just push so hard for it. It's like, I think, like I was kind of talking with the lady over the phone just a minute ago, you know, I really think some of it is a skill thing, right? I think that because people think that working with behavioral modification, you have to use all this extra like pressure, you have to be harder on the dog and this and that. it kind of showcases a little bit of the lack of skill that some of these individual trainers have, or their lack of ability to finesse this stuff in one-on-one classes, where the owner is comfortable with all the things that you're doing, and instead you're kind of like removing the dog, putting him into the box of the facility, and like basically having the ability to do whatever you want to do with the dog without worrying about the owner like over your shoulder asking questions about why you're doing the things that you're doing. It's a really interesting conversation that I've seen so much more lately than I used to see, and I really think that that's a lot of the problem with it. One-on-ones are just as effective for this kind of stuff. If anything, we see one-on-ones are more effective in a lot of cases with this kind of stuff. The only time a board and train can be a little bit easier with some of this stuff is with socialization related stuff where they need to interact with dogs every day, because obviously the owner can't really do that at home, obviously. Or two, if things are just so freaking unmanageable in the house already that we just need to remove them from that environment just so the owner can get like a quick breather and like recalibrate themselves on what they'll need to do once the dog goes home. And then at least there will be some degree of communication, which will make it easier for the owner to then jump into things. But even that, again, it's not like it's like a necessity. So I don't know. Gus? Okay, so she's just a little inconsistent with feeling the collar, responding to it, stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I know you said you're gonna be having a surgery coming up here.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is just making sure they're not pulling and stuff?
Yeah, so, well, they do great in should I let her go?
Ooh.
Okay. They do, now she's being perfect.
Yeah, right?
We have a little yard, and so I'll let them out, and they typically do pretty well, but I just want to be in a position where if they do wander into the neighbor's yard, then I can get them back easily, because I'm going to be on crutches for like 2 months.
Okay, I got you. and I'm gonna have you work her. I just wanna see how she responds to stuff here.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just kind of walk around the room for a minute here. I don't care if she follows you or not. And I'm gonna have you just kind of walk around until you lose her. And then whenever you lose her, we'll give a come command and kind of see what we get. Keep on cruising. So this is clearly telling me she knows what to do. So it most likely is just a motivation issue. I saw that you had your level locked in at a 24. Do you typically keep it locked in?
It was probably an accident.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
I got it to work.
If you hold this dial down, you'll see it'll flash and then it'll be set.
Okay.
So then if you hold it down again, it'll flash and then it's open.
Perfect.
Right?
Thank
So yeah, I never lock it in just because I want to be able to adjust up and down. But yeah, one of the big things I'll hear people tell me is exactly what you said, which is, well, I went up to a 50 and it didn't work, right? And it's like, well, the thing has 100 levels for a reason, right? There's some situations with my dogs where, I have to go up to an 80, a 90, 100 for certain things, So I always say continue increasing at that point, and if for whatever reason you're still not getting a response as you continue increasing, then at that point I would reassess, obviously. But you may just find that, there's some situations where she's really distracted where it needs to be much higher than that. Okay. So. All right, so since she's doing pretty good with you with this, you can go ahead and come to a stop. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of these with her. We'll see what we get. Okay. Miley, come. Good. Good job. Okay. Miley, come. Good. Okay. Miley, come. Pick the right person. Good. Okay. Miley, come. So she's pretty good about coming to me. Now I'm just focusing on her stabilizing next to me. You can tell she's a little kind of wonky once she gets here. No, Miley, come. So I want to see her come and just stabilize much more efficiently.
There's spots between your legs.
Yeah, I know. Okay. It's her signature move. Miley, come. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Awesome. Looks pretty good. Okay, so how's his come command?
It's pretty good.
All right, let me see your remote. I'm gonna have you work him,
Okay.
but I'll handle the remote here and we'll see if we can get this looking just as good. And don't worry about what she's doing. She could be loose and following you around. I don't care at all about that. So, all right, so let's go ahead and pick a spot somewhere and then give him a come command.
Lincoln, come.
It's hopping along. And tell him no for that.
Nope.
Then tell him come again.
Come.
Well, let's see what he... Hang on one second. Hang on. Give him a minute. So now you can tell him no again.
No. Come.
And then give him a minute. Let's see what he does. Then you can tell him no again.
No.
Then tell him come. Then give him a minute. Tell him no again.
No. Lincoln, come.
Tell him no one more time.
No. Lincoln, come.
So now what I want you to do is kind of like crouch down and encourage him over to you.
Come here. It's okay. It's okay. Lincoln, come here, bud.
There we go. All right. And give him a second. All right, and then tell him okay.
Okay.
Then we're gonna create some distance, do another one.
Lincoln, come.
Now there you go, perfect. Now these next couple that we do, don't do the encouraging again. I just wanted you to do that one because he was struggling with it a little to help him to be successful for it. But now we're gonna jump back into just the commands, and then if he doesn't do it, then no with the correction. So, all right, let's do a couple more. Nice.
These two are inseparable.
I know, I see that. Miley.
They sleep
Hello.
next to each other.
Yeah.
They snuggle.
Hello. Are you behaving yourself?
This is most of the
Should I try sometimes? Nice.
This is miraculous.
Yeah, he looks great.
Okay.
It's usually just a matter of getting past that first repetition where he really struggled with it.
Yeah.
And you know, listen, if we were doing a full training program with him and stuff, like we would have taken our time a little bit more with that. But like we're kind of at a point now where it's like you're about to have your surgery. We gotta just like get it done.
They
You
just
know?
need a good
Yeah.
Lincoln, come. Oh my God.
Double between the legs.
I'm gonna need you to send that clip to me. Ready? Okay.
Watch them both just start doing that every time you call them.
Lincoln, come.
Miley's like, there's no room for me now. There's no room. Two more good ones.
Lincoln, come.
Nice. One more. He is doing very good.
Okay. Lincoln, come.
All right, not too shabby. It's like, where are we going?
Ben, Miley.
Walk a little closer to the bed. There we go. Now you can go ahead and walk away. Nope. And then if she gets off, tell her no. Now walk back to the bed. And then re-give your bed command. Good. And then walk away again. And then just kind of walk around the room for a minute or so here. We'll let her stabilize onto there.
He's blocking.
Yeah, right. He's like, don't get off. Hi, buddy.
Okay. Ben. Okay.
And let's do two more of those. Good. Okay. bed? Good. She looks pretty good. I mean, she knows everything.
She knows everything.
I think that likely you're probably just too low on the level if you're finding she's blowing you off. And here's the thing, the only thing that really matters over the next couple months or so is the come command, you know?
I just need him to come inside.
That's it. You need him to come inside from the yard, which in her case, she didn't leave your side, which leads me to believe she very clearly knows that this thing means come to you, right? So if she's not coming to you, just have it higher, you know, and obviously make sure it's snug enough, but it felt tight enough when I checked it to begin with. At one point, I needed to correct her at like, I think it was like a 30 or so, and she hardly even responded that much to it, which leads me to believe that probably what happened was you were in a high arousal situation, you went up to 50 and it was just too low.
Okay.
So just go up higher if you run into that.
Okay.
In his case, he needed to learn that the tap meant to come to you, which he figured out after a couple of repetitions, and he did really well with it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we were a little harder on him than we needed to be, but or I should say a little harder on him than if we had more time with him, you know? But we got him to figure that out pretty clearly, so you shouldn't have an issue with that. And he seems not that, or sorry, he seems pretty sensitive to the e-collar, where you won't need that much of a high level for that.
What did you have him on, like 10?
He was anywhere from like a 10 to a 25.
Okay.
So same deal, but don't be surprised if you find that like you're in a situation where there's a lot of distractions and stuff going on that you need to have it a little higher.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they seem fine, you know. I think a little brush up for her, obviously, got her going through the motions a little bit again. And then in his case, just making sure that his understanding of that correction was good. So, I know, buddy. He's like, let me out of here.
Sometimes I think he has a hard time walking slower because it puts more...
A little bit.
Okay.
That is a little... Here, we'll go outside and we'll talk about that. Yeah, I mean, I'll cut a little bit of slack with dogs that have some sort of like physical, you know, deficiency or whatever.
Yeah.
But I still would not use it as a total excuse for him to start dragging you, you know? Because if anything, what I'll see dogs do that, you know, have 3 legs or whatever it is they'll like hop and then just like wait a couple seconds, then hop again, you know? So, and obviously we never really worked leash walking with him because this is my first time meeting him, obviously. But I would consider, if you do wind up doing walking with him and stuff, to get on that a little bit.
Bossy.